welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
I never get to say that.
Eric, tell the people.
Welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast with your host, Oscar Padron, and your announcer, Mr. Eric. There, that was fun.
All right, so Eric and I are back.
How often do I get to use
Adam
the announcer
Koloff
voice?
Behind the board.
Hiding
out.
Hiding behind the board. So we're going to talk about the neutral ground throwdown that happened at the Catheys Ballroom.
Hey, speaking about Catheys, I got a great picture to share with you.
What picture, Mr. Eric?
Well, this is a picture of it. Oh, this is a tricky photo. This is a picture that was taken, and if you notice, the background is color, but the foreground with these gentlemen and that car, that's black and white.
Amazing.
Well, here's the deal. This was a photograph. It was taken of Bob Wills. That's him there, taking possession of his new Mercury. We believe, if we're not correct, be sure and call us. Get on the website, say, you idiot, that's not right. But we think it's a Mercury.
You can reach Mr. Eric at MrEricAOL.com.
That's right. Anyway, this is a cool picture because this is Bob, and he was a very big car lover.
Yes.
I know that for a fact. So, taking possession of his car, but it's really cool the way this has been dodged into a current photograph of downtown, that 1202 building, still there today. But at one time, that was your Mercury showroom. So,
all right.
Boom, bam.
Facts
what do you know?
About downtown.
Hey, there's Bob. Check out those portholes.
So, Bob Wills, fundamental part of the Tulsa Sound.
Fundamental.
Huge part. So, what we're here to talk about is the neutral ground throwdown.
Neutral ground throwdown, segment number 2.
Segment number 2. Here we go, as we listen to a little bit of Flash Terry in the background.
They really can't hear that back there.
Oh, they can. Okay, so we're going to talk about the neutral ground throwdown. Brad Absher and the Superiors. Man.
Yeah, this was a great show. You were there.
Oh,
you were front of house.
I was there, too.
Yeah, Adam was there
Adam
also.
was there, too. What were you doing there, Adam?
I was taking photos.
You were taking photos?
Oh, yeah.
You weren't like, hanging out backstage and... No.
I wouldn't want to incriminate myself.
Yeah. Here's a picture of Oscar backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a Red Dirt Rangers sticker
it's
right behind your private head?
Yeah.
Oscar, how do you get your hair to do that,
Catheys
man?
Ballroom. What I do is I stick a fork in a light socket, and it instantly turns me into Johnny Bravo with type 2 diabetes.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Put it down.
The resemblance is uncanny.
I look like I manage a self-storage unit.
Yeah, self-storage unit.
I look like...
Yeah, that's what you look like.
I look like Johnny Bravo with type 2 diabetes.
There you go. Right on. We're working with that one.
We repeated the joke. That is not good comedy.
That's okay. Right. We're not good podcasters. By the way, folks, if you don't like the quality of our show, I don't care. Okay, because we're doing the best we can here. We got Adam because we knew that we had to do something.
I keep pushing the wrong button, so it's all good.
We're just kind of trying anything, but God bless you, son. God bless you. Here's some more pictures from the Catheys right here, man.
Yeah, and you know who that is in the photograph there?
Brandon Jenkins.
Man, no. That is Dusty Watson, one of the world's greatest stagehands. I started out stagehanding with Dusty back in the early 90s. Dusty passed away. We remember him
6 years ago.
He was a good friend. We did gigs together in Atlanta. We did gigs together in Tampa.
Model railroad.
We did gigs together in Memphis. We did gigs together all over the country. In Dallas, Texas. He was one of the hardest working stagehands. He was my brother. And that's Dusty Watson. And we just wanted to mention him tonight and celebrate his life because he was part of this whole thing. And we wouldn't be who we are today without Dusty, man.
Nope. This is Oscar Padron.
Yeah.
He was one of the. He was at the front of house. Oscar, is that behind you there? Is that where they adjust the temperature of the room?
Yes, that is the world's largest thermostat.
Great. I was wondering because I went up to that guy the other night and I said, "Man, it's kind of cool in here, don't you think?" And I guess he couldn't hear what I was saying. He kind of gave me a dirty look. I don't know.
We had crawfish at the
baby.
neutral ground throwdown. Now, The
Yeah.
crawfish is sideways, but you get the idea.
Well, no, Oscar Bats, because we
That's just to
rotated
fit the aspect ratio. It's
Actually,
all very technical.
we rotated these photos using VS, but we ended up the computer's gone wacko.
Man,
wacko, but
the
it sure looks
crawfish
good.
were delicious.
man.
It was wonderful. A good, taste of New
Oh,
Orleans.
there
right
we
here
go.
in
There's the
Tulsa.
rotated version.
There's
we
the
go.
proper version of them crawdads. Now, man, them mud bugs were good, and I just want to thank the cooks that worked hard that day to make that all happen
Ask
for
any
us.
mermaid you
I think
happen
that
to
was
see.
Cajun Ed's, wasn't it?
Cajun
What's
Ed's.
the best seafood?
Yes.
Insect of the sea.
So the host of
Hey.
the Nutri-Ground Throwdown was
here we
my
go.
good friend, Mr. Brad Absher.
There he is.
Boom.
Here he is. Dylan Layton on bass. Mad Matt Martin on the drums. He had a horn section. It was fabulous.
That's fab.
So
There's Brad.
It was a fantastic
Brad
show.
and I have
all the
been
way
friends
around.
since I think 1992. He and I were talking recently in the last couple of months. He goes, "Man, when did we meet?" I actually sat in on his recording session at the church studio, and Brad and I were talking. And I said, "Man, I remember going into Sound Warehouse and buying a Mazeppa box set from you."
Mazeppa.
Back in the day, and that's when I remember meeting Brad. Now, I was just a customer at the record store, but he was cool Brad Absher that worked at Sound Warehouse. That's how I knew him. And,
He worked for Goose.
Yeah, he worked at
Yeah.
Sound Warehouse. So that's when
Goose
I met
was
Brad.
always helping
This was
out
in the
some
early
bum.
'90s. And but he sold me a Mazeppa
bless
box
you,
set.
Goose.
Now, if you know
You know
anything
I
about
love
Tulsa, you know about Mazeppa. Mazeppa was a character by who, Mr. Eric?
Gaylord Sartain.
That is right, Gaylord Sartain, which went
I
on
think
to
Gary Busey was in a few of those.
Yes.
I've seen
Gary
the VHS tapes. Thanks
He
to
was
my
a player.
father.
They really what Mazeppa was a Saturday Night Live about 12 years before Saturday Night Live. And as usual, here in Tulsa, underground stuff happens, and then we see it on the national thing. And everybody says, oh, Tulsa's 3 to 4 years behind the national scene. It's like, that's not really true. We're actually quite ahead of it, but this is where the ideas are hatched. And then they grow, and then they become popular, and then you see them again. But you'll look around this town, and you'll see a lot of things that may look a little funny, but they'll be back. They'll be back.
So on the subject of Brad Absher, man, Brad Absher has definitely lived. He was born in Tulsa to two school teachers. I myself am the son of a school teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, so, his folks are school teachers, and he began moving around the country when his dad decided to try to work in the oil and gas business, and instead of the classroom. His father's job ultimately took the family across the world to Iran.
And they live in Tehran, right?
Yes, they lived in Tehran. Absher's
amazing.
mother
Small.
joined the family in Iran. Absher's mother determined to join him, even though she had never been on a plane, took her young toddler
Long
son
flight.
on board.
The toddler son, that'd be Brad?
Yeah.
Brad was a toddler?
The Abshers spent 3
He certainly
years
doesn't appear to be
in
one
Tehran. Well, he lived in Iran for 3 years. Interesting
toddled
fact.
there.
He was toddling in Iran.
Well, he had to write a song called that.
So in 1969, his family returned to the States to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where Absher began his life. So, listen, Brad is a good person. I've known him for a very long time. When Absher started playing in clubs after high school, he joined other bands in Tulsa. He loved being part of the team, but his singing voice demanded the spotlight. Honed, but sometimes gut-wrenchingly haggard, like only a soul shouter's croon can be. Absher's vocals, coupled with his tasteful electric guitar playing, made him a favorite frontman in the vibrant Tulsa music scene, our blues scene in particular in Tulsa, through the 1980s and 90s. A move to Houston turned into a 15-year detour. But he's back, folks.
It's all right, Eric.
He's killing me.
They didn't
My
notice.
mouth.
Yes, so
My mouth.
Absher,
Oh,
he
my
splits his
two
time. Brad lives in New Orleans, and he lives in Tulsa both. So we're very lucky to have this amazing artist in our city. He's from here, but he branches out. He spends time in
Branches
Houston.
out.
He spends time in Louisiana. He's
got it going on.
You know, the other day he posted a photo. He was at a New Orleans
Because I spent time in Crosby
football game.
Heights,
He
and
was
then
who-datting it up. So
slide
he's a
over to
New
Civic
Orleans
Center
Saints fan. Yeah. So Absher, back in Tulsa, he's recording Roots and discovering just how much of an impact he made 2 decades ago. Understand that the bands you're seeing out there today, these young musicians, these blues guitarists, were influenced by Absher. Tulsa Tea was his newest album by, of course, his new band, the Superiors.
new band,
Fabulous.
the Superiors.
Man, hot
That's
shit.
a cross of the Supremes and the
Hot shit.
Imperials.
Yes.
You know the Imperials own a recording studio in Joplin, Missouri?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Lorraine recorded up there back in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, great place. We got to use Kurzweil keyboards for free, and they were like the brand newest keyboards. That's an Imperial story. We're hoping to have the Imperials on the show sometime. Probably not, but we're hoping to have them on the show sometime.
You know,
Of course, they're famous.
Brad
so why would they
Absher's
come on that
voice
show when they're not
has-
from Tulsa, so-
sorry.
No, go
Brad
ahead.
Absher's voice has been described as Southern soul music. You can hear Tulsa's earthy dignity
Earthy
and
dignity.
swampy carpe diem of Lake Charles
Swampy Carpe Diem.
in his voice. You
Is
can
that
hear
like a
New Orleans
fish?
in his voice. Yes, the carpe diem. You got to fry carpe diem.
Yeah, boy. We got you up there, Lord. I tell more. Some fried Carpe Diem for you. You'll like that with some mushu,
So
Tonight
they put
in
it
the
on. It
news.
was a great show.
That's a great album.
Special
too.
guest. Yes, it is a great album. We want to invite everyone out to pick up that record.
Tell us about these pictures here, Oscar.
Well, that's a picture of Brad.
There's Brad.
Man,
right
that's
there.
a great picture.
Who's that singing background there, Oscar?
So, Lord, forgive me, I do not
Lord,
remember
forgive
this young
him.
lady's name,
Oh,
but she was
brother.
fabulous. She came out at the end of the show, and they
And
did
boy,
the
did she
core
sing.
by Eric Clapton, and boy, did she sing. She tore it
Yeah.
down. Those pictures, Stephen White. Man, we love Stephen White. Stephen White Group. Look for Absher, Martin, and White out and around town. They play together as a trio. This is Absher's new record,
Tulsa Tea.
Tulsa Tea.
Hold that up to the camera there.
Black and white.
Available on any
Buy
streaming
this record.
platform.
You really know that a podcast has it together when they
this
don't even
record.
bother to ask the artist to send some promo over. But that's okay because here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast,
Hey, that's what post editing's for.
right on, brother. Right on.
So,
Because
you know,
ultimately, we really don't know what we're
special
doing.
guests on the show were Papa Foster and the Grits. And Papa Foster was born in New Orleans. Christopher
Papa
Papa
Foster.
Foster began
not
to
him.
live his life
He's got
down.
one leg up on him.
No,
there.
we don't have that picture right now, but
We can put that in post.
I'm looking for
we'll,
him.
we'll bring you a picture. Yeah,
We're just
so
gonna
Papa
roll
Foster
pictures.
was there. You know, Chris has been playing around town for years. Chris Foster, you know,
They
great
just
guy.
released a new song with a music video.
Did he?
Recently. Lemonade, I believe.
Lemonade. Look for
Groovy
Lemonade.
song with a really cool video.
All right, by Papa Foster and the Grits. Lemonade.
It's out.
Excellent. You know, he's a great piano player. And he's an old-timey piano player at that, man. That's rare.
Stride piano. Boogie woogie.
Boogie Woogie, a little ragtime.
Ragtime.
He also,
Stride. Stride.
you know, he's a hell of a guy. So look for Papa Foster and the Grits.
Yes,
They just
sir.
recently got done playing over at Thelma's Peach. Look for them. Find them on Instagram. Find them on the Facebook, on the book face. Find them on all
If
your
you're lucky,
socials.
you'll get some tacos too.
Yeah, so there's a little taco stand I like to hit up. Tacos. So I love tacos.
So where, Oscar, where do we find Tacos La Cabana?
Okay, so what goes on at this taco truck is that they actually serve hot dogs. I know the truck says
Oh, yeah,
tacos,
man.
but this is a hot dog truck, ladies and gentlemen, and they make Mexican hot dogs. And what is a Mexican hot dog?
Hold it, wait. What is a Mexican hot dog?
A Mexican hot dog comes with beans,
Yeah.
bacon, serrano peppers, loaded, and then they whiz it with mayo at the end, and it's
Hang on,
just
my phone's ringing.
fucking wonderful. So
Oh, it's my
we gotta
cardiologist,
wrap
and he
this
says
up.
no.
we We love to go there and get Mexican hot dogs. They are at Utica, across from the liquor store there, across from the warehouse market, 3rd and
Utica.
3rd and Lewis.
3rd and Lewis? Or 3rd and Lewis?
Yeah.
Ah,
down the block
very
from the
good.
Circle Cinema.
Right across the street from Tulsa's longest liquor store.
Go in there and get the
Twilight
Mexican hot
Liquor.
dogs. Is that the oldest liquor store in Tulsa?
I believe it is Tulsa's longest established, currently operating liquor store.
All right.
At the same location for over 68 years or something. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let us know. Facebook. Let us know on Instagram.
Yes.
Let us know on YouTube.
You can
Put it
email
in the comments below.
Yeah, if we're wrong, you can email Mr. Eric at MrEricAOL.com.
You know, Oscar, I'd just like to say this. I called and checked my zip code, and it was canceled. Tulsa Sound Podcast. We'll be right back